And owing to some commendable town planning, the church is situated in such a way as to be seen without obstruction in 4 directions. This factor alone helped Halstead.
Olá pessoal, sejam bem-vindos ao meu canal. Meu nome é Natália, mas você pode me chamar de Nath. Eu adoro reagir e aprender sobre outros países, especialmente aqueles bem diferentes do meu, em termos culturais e econômicos. Então, se você gosta desse tipo de conteúdo, fique à vontade para se inscrever. Vou adorar ter você por aqui. Bom, nesse vídeo eu vou reagir a top 10 cidades mais bonitas de Essex. Então é isso, sem mais delongas, e vamos para a reação.
Just east and northeast of London is the county of Essex, and aside from the reality TV stereotypes, Essex is home to some incredibly picturesque towns. But what are its prettiest? To establish this,
Tem
I
gente
visited them
morando
all
aqui.
personally, and my conclusions are presented to you in this top 10 list. Just to add that cities are included for consideration in this, which may come into play later. As a disclaimer, this is neither a social commentary nor a guide on where's nicest to live. It is simply a beauty contest, judged by yours truly. So let's get straight to it. Number 10. Our first entry comes from a historic town whose name derives from healthy place in Old English, a town with a thriving wool industry in the medieval era. It is Halstead.
É perfeito.
Whilst Essex isn't generally known for its altitude, Halstead's town centre features a comparatively steep high street from the River Colne up to St Andrew's Church dating from the 14th century. And owing to some commendable town planning, the church is situated in such a way as to be seen without obstruction in 4 directions. This factor alone helped Halstead.
Gente, meu Deus, a minha cabeça fica doida, sabe? Porque, tipo, olha só, é muito antiga essa cidade, é muito velha. E tem ônibus ali, ó, ônibus de 2 andares. Eu não sabia que esses ônibus circulavam por outras cidades fora de Londres, sabe? E eu estou chocada com isso. Tipo, fica uma mistura, assim, de coisas velhas e antigas ao mesmo tempo. É muito, muito bonito.
Beat off some stiff competition for a spot on this list. Number 9. Now here's a coastal town with a difference. You'll find it located just west of Southend-on-Sea as part of
Gente,
a
olha as
continuous urban
placas, são muito
development. But
ornamentadas.
this is a different animal altogether. The town is Lee-on-Sea, although a more accurate name would be perhaps Lee-on-Muddy Estuary, but that doesn't sound as inviting, I guess. The history of Lee-on-Sea is punctuated by the 13th century St Clement's Church in the centre. Since the medieval era, it was deemed a fishing town of national importance, as well as a shipbuilding town, supplying at least 6 ships that fought against the Spanish Armada in 1588. Of particular note is its high street, lined with characterful old fishing cottages harking back to its past.
Uau! Caramba, é impressionante como realmente é tudo muito bem cuidado. Eu me pergunto como deve ser viver num lugar desses, porque é uma cidade muito antiga, né? Tipo, não é uma outra casa, tipo, basicamente é tudo que eu estou vendo aqui parece velho. Como será que deve ser a conservação de uma cidade assim? Tipo, é considerado um patrimônio histórico, algo do tipo?
Number 8. And now to a true seaside town. You might think Essex, with its long coastline, would be abundant with beach resorts. However, the landscape here is so marshy that
Uau!
only a small handful actually
É
exist.
colorido.
And out of this handful, one of them stands head and shoulders above the rest. It is Walton on the Naze. With the 3rd longest pier in the UK, and colourful beach huts stretching all the way to the neighbouring town of Frinton-on-Sea, you'd be
Gente, o
forgiven
que
for
seriam essas
asking, well,
cabanas?
what's the catch?
É
But a
muito
walk through the
bonito.
town centre reveals no such cracks in the seams that afflict other seaside towns. In fact, it even has something to boast that not even Brighton can claim, a sandy beach. So what's not to love? Number 7. Here's a free piece of trivia for you. What's the smallest town in the UK? Well, by area, it would appear to be this very town. A town that stares down Suffolk from its position on the south bank of the River Stour. It is Manningtree. The town was the base of the infamous Witchfinder General Matthew Hopkins during the 1640s. In
Gente, agora eu tô observando aqui que essas cidades tem muitos carros, né? Chama a atenção porque geralmente a imagem que aqui no Brasil a gente tem de cidades pequenas são cidades que não tem muito carro, coisa do tipo. Mas eu observo que nessas cidades parece que tem uma boa movimentação de carro. Isso é muito curioso. Geralmente é uma coisa assim que o povo britânico tem, tipo o costume de comprar carros ou coisa assim. Me deixe saber nos comentários, porque tá me chamando a atenção como circula muitos carros por aqui.
18th century, plans to turn Manningtree and neighbouring Mistley into a spa resort fell through, though it did leave the
muito
town with a
pitoresco.
pleasant vestige of Georgian houses along the high street. Number 6. By sheer coincidence, we now jump from Essex's smallest town to its largest. In fact, it's not even a
Gente, é
town
difícil
anymore, as
acreditar
in
que tem gente
2022
morando.
it was upgraded to a city, which is all the more fitting as it is often cited as Britain's first city. To the Romans, it was Camulodunum. To us, it's Colchester. It would take too long even to summarise Colchester's history, so in short, I'll just outline 3 major landmarks. First, there's the Bolcoen Gate, believed to date from the 2nd century, and said to be the
Uau!
best preserved Roman gateway in the country. Then there's Colchester Castle, built atop the
Perfeito!
ruins of the Temple of Claudius, and of course there's the old siege house with actual preserved bullet holes from the 1648 siege of Colchester during the English Civil War.
Nossa, eu me pergunto como deve ser a manutenção de uma casa assim, né? De um edifício assim, porque essas listras, elas realmente são madeiras, né? Pelo que eu já pude ver, pelo que vocês falaram. É muito diferente.
All this among a fine array of authentic Tudor houses clustered together, the likes of which you simply won't find in any other big town or city in the country, with the possible exception of Norwich. But for that you'll have to wait till the Norfolk episode of this series. Number 5. We now jump from Essex's oldest settlement to its second oldest, and one that is synonymous with sea salt. It is Malden. When the East Saxons, from whence the county's name is derived, settled here, their existence was fraught with sea salt. It is Malden. When the East Saxons, from whence the county...
Gente, olha só essa lojinha aqui, escrito Supernatural. Tipo, é muito fofa. Olha como é pequena. Tipo, imagina você viver num lugar desses e você ir fazer compra numa loja assim. É muito pitoresco, é muito conto de fadas.
His name is derived, settled here. Their existence was fraught with Viking attacks, including the Battle of Malden in 991 AD. This didn't keep the locals down for too long, who, by the time of the Doomsday Survey of 1086, were already harvesting salt from the Blackwater estuary. Malden boasts over 200 listed buildings, including a handful with
Caramba,
Grade
são
1
muitos.
status. Among these are the Church of St Mary, the Church of All Saints, and the tower of the former Church of St Peter, which now forms part of a library. And if that wasn't enough, the Hythe Quay is home to a stunning collection of barges, which serve as a reminder of the town's industrial past, which once saw up to 2,000 boats operating from here. Number 4. And now to a town named after a byproduct of a type of crocus, a market town since 1141, Saffron Walden. Located in northwest
Uau!
Essex, it sits in a secluded spot just away from the mainline train tracks between London and Cambridge. Speaking of which, just 4 out of the 10 entries on this list even have their own railway station. But I'll save my beaching rant for another time. As for the architecture of
Gente, essas cidades, elas têm um bom transporte público, linhas de trem ou algo assim, porque agora que ele mencionou sobre esse assunto, isso me chamou a atenção, porque são cidades muito lindas. E eu fico me imaginando, né, me perguntando, se essas cidades têm essas coisas que essas cidades maiores oferecem, né? Essas cidades mais modernas.
Saffron Walden, it boasts Essex's largest parish church, namely St Mary's Church, perched atop the highest point in the town. Then there's the Elizabethan-era Cross Keys Hotel, which, according to a legend, was built around an oak tree, which was never even felled. And something quite special in the form of 3 neighbouring Grade 1 listed houses on Church Street. To be clear here, finding 3 Grade 1 listed houses in a row is pretty much the architectural equivalent of drawing a royal flush.
Uau,
And yet,
olha
we'll
isso
see
nas
another example of
paredes.
this in our number 2 entry. But first, number 3. Here's a town whose nearest railway station is Stansted Airport. 5 miles east of quote-unquote London Stansted Airport is the town of Great Dunmow. And while the public transport may not be great in Great Dunmow, what is great is the architecture. Every building in the town has its own character, and you'll not find a single blight on the views. The town is host to an ancient tradition alluded to in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, namely the Dunmow Flitch Trials. This goes all the way back to the 12th century and takes place every 4 years to this day. In short, a couple's fidelity is tested by a jury of 6 local bachelors and 6 local maidens who must be convinced that for a year and a day they've never wished themselves unwed. If successful, they parade down the high street and are granted a flitch of bacon, i.e. half a pig cut in half lengthways, literally bringing home the bacon, if you will. There's nothing like a good ancient British tradition. Number 2. Aesthetically, we're into fairy tale territory now. This entry makes it a hat-trick for Essex's northwestern district of Uttlesford. The town is Thaxted.
Gente, o que me chama atenção é como as pessoas parecem que vivem num estilo assim muito mais lento, né? Tipo, a forma como as pessoas dirigem, a forma como as pessoas andam na rua, você pode sentir uma energia assim de calmaria mesmo, né? Tipo, vai contra tudo que geralmente vejo, pessoas muito agitadas e coisas assim. E esses lugares não me passam essa sensação nem um pouco.
During the medieval era, Thaxted was a producer of cutlery. In fact, it was this trade that helped to fund the town's iconic Guildhall, dating from the 15th century. The Guildhall is, of course, Grade 1 listed, but then so are 3 out of its 4 neighbouring addresses along the cobbled street leading up to the church. And speaking of which, the Church of St John the Baptist dates back to the 14th century and is without doubt one of the finest in Essex. The buildings surrounding the church are none too shabby either. Heck, there's even a windmill in the town for good measure. And yet, as hard as it is not to award the top spot to Thaxted, there is one final town that has to be seen to be
Eu
believed.
amo.
And so we come to number 1. Now, the phrase hidden
Gente, olha
gem
essa
gets
casa,
bandied
meu
about
Deus,
like
olha essa
confetti these
arquitetura.
days, but in this case, it truly applies. Our top entry lies halfway between Braintree and Colchester. It is Coggeshall. A medieval wall town that was once home to an abbey, Coggeshall oozes with history, with nary a modern building in sight. A number of buildings deserve individual
Que
mention.
isso?
Firstly, the Grange Barn dates from the 13th century. This was the abbey's tithe barn, i.e. where farmers gave 1/10 of their
Oh,
produce to the church as a tax. Then there's Paycock's House, dating from circa 1500
Meu
as a
Deus,
wedding
olha
present for
isso.
the son and daughter.
Eu nunca tinha visto nada assim. Isso é muito, muito doido. Tipo, esses lugares são literalmente um deleite para quem ama arquitetura, porque são muitas variações.
Daughter-in-law of John Paycock, a wealthy cloth merchant. And another product of the wool industry is the 15th century church of St. Peter ad Vincula. On the lighter side, from around the 17th century, legends arose attesting to the alleged daft nature of the locals, leading to the phrase Coggeshall job, or perhaps Coxall job in local dialect. Examples of this include an instance where the church only chimed 11 times at noon, upon which the townsfolk rode to the neighbouring town to collect the missing chime, or when a cow was winched up to the roof of the church in order to eat the grass growing there. Say what you will of the locals of old, this town's beauty
E o que
is
ele
enough to
fala
leave
é muito,
anyone
muito
dumbfounded.
divertido. Tipo, eu fico
And those are
doida.
my picks for top 10 prettiest towns in Essex. Do you agree or disagree? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. This is my 4th county I've covered so far. The plan is to get round them all, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see the series develop. In any case, I'd like to think this video gives a new meaning to the phrase, the only way is Essex. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Gente, literalmente é impossível escolher uma só para ser a mais bonita. Todas são muito medievais, né? Tipo, literalmente, eu fico imaginando como deve ser viver num lugar desses e você simplesmente vai fazer uma compra no mercado e passa por casas muito velhas. Para mim, é como essas pessoas que vivessem nessas cidades estivessem vivendo dentro de um filme, sabe? Tipo, eu tenho muito essa sensação, porque para mim é muito pitoresco, é muito cinematográfico. Eu só acredito que tem gente morando aqui porque vocês me falam nos comentários, né? E eu também vejo pelos vídeos que há movimentação. Mas se eu simplesmente olhasse uma foto e não soubesse, não visse pessoas na rua, eu não ia acreditar que tem pessoas morando ali, porque é muito difícil para mim. Tipo, essas casas, esse estilo, essa estética de cidade, eu só vejo em filme. Então, assim, automaticamente eu associo a uma coisa que não existe, né? Tipo, associo a uma coisa cinematográfica, porque é muito, muito bem cuidado. Mas amo ver também como esses lugares transmitem uma calmaria, sabe? Tipo, se você quiser simplesmente dar um tempo assim do caos urbano, parece que esses lugares são perfeitos para você apreciar isso e desacelerar um pouco. Eu realmente admiro muito isso e obviamente vocês já sabem, né? Eu não vejo a hora de visitar esses lugares e sentir essa atmosfera em pessoa. Mas bom, essa foi a minha reação. Eu espero que você tenha gostado desse vídeo. Se você gostou, considere se inscrever. Vou adorar ter você por aqui. E se você já for inscrito, não esquece de ativar as notificações. Então é isso, obrigada por assistir esse vídeo, nos vemos na próxima reação. Tchau!